much more comfortable. So today, my name is Derek Tsai. My topic today is how to bulletproof your career. I chose the old topic called how to avoid layoff, but that's kind of passive. I would like to be more proactive. One of my favorite songs is Sia's Titanium. All your bullets ricochet, shoot me down, but I'll get up and I'm bulletproof. That is the lyrics, and I really enjoyed that song, so I use that as a kind of foray to the discussion, to the talk. So why am I qualified to give this talk? I've escaped more than 3 decades of not being laid off in my career. My first 3 companies, all 3 companies have been closed down, but I was able to find opportunity long before they closed down the place. My last place at Sun Microsystems, I spent 20 years there. I encountered more than 5 reduction in force, 5 risks, and I personally had to lay off like 10 people myself. It was not a very pleasant experience. And FRI, just this year, I went to go through another 2 rounds and had to let one person go myself in my organization. So it's a very difficult process, difficult decision, and I think I'm qualified on the front row seat to see how this whole process play out. And so what are the things why do companies lay people off, right? There are basically 3 reasons. The number 1 reason is just the cost reduction, right? They just don't have enough margin to support all these people. And part of the reason is also the automation. According to Mercury News, 16% of a labor force is going to be pretty much out of the job due to automation in the next 2 decades.
Wow.
The revenue shortfalls, we have seen, the FireEye also have a similar problem. We have the revenue shortfalls, lower margin, the competition, and there are some companies just like to lay off people off because they can have a higher return to investment for the stockholders. Ultimately, the company is responsible for the shareholder. Mm-hmm. So how do we, let's come to how do we avoid being laid off? That's the meat of the talk. There are basically, I'm going to talk about 3 different categories. Number 1 is to bring value to your job. And there are multiple ways you can do that. One of my first job is, I started out as a teenager. I have my family has a fish and chip restaurant. And we have to figure out how to cook the fish. One of the hardest part is to cook the fish really crunchy. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make that fish extra crunchy for the customer. And one of the tricks you do is you have to actually fry twice. You have to have very low heat and get rid of the water. Fry the first time. The second time is you have very high heat and then have very quick fried the fish, and then you get very crunchy fish. So that's how I arrived to really know the intricacy of your job. It's very important so that you can bring the value to the customer. And then at some point, I got promoted to be the cashier, and I found out that if you bring a smile to your customer, they actually can appreciate what you do and get extra tips or whatever. They actually people buy more also when they see the smile in the face. So take pride on your job and be super efficient. When I was doing electrical engineering, I was doing a lot of simulation. I found out a lot of time I spend looking at stuff, looking at the simulation result. And that was something that I found that I can automate the whole process by just writing a script, and I can automate the whole thing. So those are the things, and go extra miles, work a little bit harder, benchmark yourself against your peers, ask your boss how you're doing. And that's something people are not very good at, is getting the feedback from your boss. And then the second major category is develop that soft skill, right? the first one, I would say the hardware, and the second one is the software that wrap around your brand. Learn the 7 habits of very highly effective people. There's a very nice book that people should go and read them. The things that I find the most intriguing for me is seek first to understand. And that's something I learned that's very important. And sell yourself constantly. Take the opportunity to speak, like in this case, take the opportunity to present so that people can see how you're doing. And that is very important because people are always watching, observing you, evaluating you. And having that is very important. Collaborate and network. There's network inbound, there's inbound networking, there's outbound networking. I consider this forum our inbound networking within the company. But there's outbound networking that I always take time to go and have lunch with my ex-workers and talk with them and see how things are going in the industry. So those are important. And the last major category is constantly learning, never stop learning. One of the things myself in my career, I find myself constantly moving from one job to the next. Not because something is more interesting. Most of the time, it's just because I need to shape my skill to broaden my skill set, and I think that's very critical that you can advance to a higher value add to promote yourself to the higher value add. So, in conclusion, the layoffs are not avoidable. There's no way you can avoid that. The company you join may have misfortune, whatever missteps, that's going to happen. But if that happens, you got to pick yourself up and keep moving on. And hopefully, you'll be bulletproof, and the bullets will ricochet off you. Thank you.
What a good speech. I really could connect to that, absolutely. One of the things that I really liked about your speech was that you provided some advice and some references, something that we can take away from that. Thank you very much.
All your bullets ricochet. Shoot me down, but I get up. I'm bulletproof. That was a really interesting way for you to introduce or to bring the topic in. Yeah. I like those lyrics, and I think everyone in the room, I think your topic captured everyone's interest because we recently went through those layoffs, and I know I was one of the people who were sitting in the ranks thinking, was it my turn now? And so it was great that I think you provided some of the things that I loved about it because your selection of topic was very relevant. There was good structure. I like how you came in, you talked about how you picked the topic, you introduced it, you took us through what qualifies you to speak about it, why people lay off from a business perspective, and practical tips for everyone in the room to kind of apply. So this was a great way for you to take us through all the different areas that we might be concerned about on this subject. And then you had stories. You had interesting stories about your first job and in the restaurant and how you brought value there. For instance, you used statistics, referencing something in the newspaper about the number of people that will lose their jobs because of automation. So you made the points more meaningful and relevant to people that were listening. So again, great job doing that. Things that I thought that could have used a improvement was perhaps the way you presented your introduction. I thought, we already knew the topic. I just announced your topic, and then you came up and you said, well, I'm going to talk about, my topic is this, which everybody had already known. So maybe you could have started it in a different way because people already had that context. And another thing that, you might have engaged the topic, engaged the people in the audience a little bit more because everyone in the room has had experience with layoffs as well, or being at a company when layoffs happen and tapping into that. But overall, I really liked how you had some great reminders about how people can develop their networks, collaborate, bring value, and improve their soft skills to make themselves noticed. So thank you, Derek.